Okay, in this video, we're going to be solving a PSAT math exam. Okay, so for the first one, question 1. What is the x-intercept of the graph shown? Okay, so when they say x-intercept, what that really means is, what intercept means to touch is, when does it touch the x-axis? So looking here, it touches it at the value of 4. So the answer here is 4, comma 0, expressed as a coordinate. Because since coordinates are x, comma y, and our x forward is 4, and we're just 0, we haven't gone up any, the answer is 4, comma 0. Here, D is the correct answer. On to the next one. If x equals 40, what is the value of x plus 6? Okay, so here you're telling us that x is 40, so you substitute it into here, and we get 40 plus 6, which I hope you don't need a calculator for. That's equal to 46. So the answer is 46. Okay, next one. There are a total of 840 seats in a school auditorium. During an assembly, students occupied 50% of the seats in the auditorium. How many seats did the students occupy during this assembly? Okay, so just imagine you got like a 10 question test and you got a 50%. That would mean you got 5 of the questions right, which is half. We're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna take half of 840. So 840 divided by 2 is equal to 420. So the answer is 420. Circle that. Next one. Which expression is equivalent to 50x squared plus 5x squared? Okay, so we know that these are common terms since they both have an x squared, so we can add them together and we get 55x squared. Well, let's say you didn't know that. Let's see if we could use decimals to solve this one, since you're allowed to use it on the test. Okay, so let's just get 50x squared. It's 5x squared. This strategy could also work for harder questions. And what we're going to do is just we're going to plug in every answer choice and see which one matches this graph. So you can put in, oops, let's go up. Okay, back to this one. Okay, so we have 250x squared for the first one. Let's see if it matches the graph. Nope, so it's not A. Let's try the second one, 10x squared. Nope, doesn't match it. 45x squared, doesn't match it either. It's, as you can see, it's close, but it's not quite there. And for the last one, 55x squared, which matches perfectly. So the answer is D. You can use both methods. Okay, next one. Okay, which of the following lists represent a dataset that has the same median as the dataset shown? Close this real quick. I'm only going to pull it up to show the strategies. It has the same median as the dataset shown below, or shown above. Okay, if we want to find a dataset with the same median, we got to find the median first. So the median is just the value that's in the middle. So let's do it. Moving this one, moving this one, this one, this one, this one. And we see that 8 is in the middle. So out of these, we have to find which one where 8 is in the middle. Okay, here 8 is not like nowhere in the middle. We only see 6s, so it's not A. B. It appears right, since there's 2 8s in the middle. We're gonna check it later. Okay, this one's definitely not right, and this one's definitely not right. Okay, and for this one, if we do the same thing, we remove this 6, remove this 10, remove this 6, remove this 10. We're going to be left with 2 numbers in the middle. And the rule is, when you have an even number of points, you're going to take the average of these 2 in the middle. Because, you know, with median, there has to be an odd number. If there's an even number, you're going to take the average of these 2. So 8 plus 8 divided by 2. 16 divided by 2 is still 8. So we're good. The median is still 8. The answer is B. Okay, next one. A cherry pitting machine pits 12 pounds of berries in 3 minutes. At this rate, how many minutes does it take the machine to pit 96 pounds of cherries? Okay. So what we can do is multiply this ratio by 8, and we would get 96 pounds, right? Because 12 times 8 is 96. So we would get that 96 pounds per, since we multiplied by 8, it would be per p times 8 minutes. So the answer is 24. Okay, next one. In the triangle shown below, or sorry, shown above, what is the value of tangent of x? Okay, so let's do a quick review of trigonometric functions, which might sound scary, but they're really not that bad. Let me type that out this time. So, katoa. Okay, so you might have heard this, and this is what it means. It tells us that the value of sine, that's what the s here is for, sine is equal to O divided by h. It tells us that cosine is equal to A divided by h, and that tangent is equal to O divided by A. And let's quickly review what each of these letters means. Okay, so the O means opposite. It means what side is opposite to this angle. So we have an x here. What would be opposite to it would be this 26. If we had an x here, we would just look the other way, and this would be our opposite. Okay, now for the hypotenuse. This one's always the same. It's just the longest side, which here is this one. It's usually the slanted line in these right triangle problems. Okay, and now finally for the adjacent. It's just whatever side is touching it that is not the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's look at x here. We have two sides touching it. We have 7 and this long one. But the long one's already the hypotenuse, so it has to be 7. Okay, now that we know what these symbols mean, we can just plug into here. Okay, so we do O divided by A, so that's 26, divided by the adjacent, which is 7. So the answer is 26 over 7. Okay, now for this one. The scatter plot shows the relationship between x and y. A line of best fit is also shown. Which of the following is closest to the slope of the line of best fit? Okay, so for finding the slope, we can immediately cross out A and B, since a negative slope would look something like this. It would be going up, down, and since our line is going up, it has to have a positive slope. And now to choose between C and D, I think the fastest way is to just draw out a line with slope 1, like a perfect diagonal here. And compare. If it's less steep, it's going to be below this. If it's more steep, it's going to be above it. So since this line is less steep, it has to be less than 1. So the answer choice here is C. If it had been greater than 1, it would have looked something like this. A model predicts that a certain animal weighed 241 pounds when it was born, and that the animal gained 3 pounds per day in the first year of its life. The model is defined by an equation of the form f of x is equal to a plus bx, where f of x is the predicted weight in pounds of the animal x days after it is born, where a and b are constants. What is the value of a? Okay, so whenever I have a weird equation like this, f of x is equal to a plus bx, I will try to make it look something I do know how to use. So f of x, just write it out again. F of x is equal to a plus bx. We can replace this f of x with a y, since they're basically the same thing. Y is equal to a plus bx. And I would rearrange this too to get y is equal to bx plus a. Notice the similarity to y equals to mx plus b, which we do know how to use. Okay, so since we have an x next to the b term is the one that we're going to be changing by. So we're going to be going up by b every few x. Okay, and if we're going up in this context, we would be going up some regular amount in weight, which would be 3 pounds here. So that means b is equal to 3. So y is equal to 3x plus a. Okay, and the a term here, since you're not multiplying by anything, it's just always going to stay the same. So it's kind of like an initial amount. What did you start out with? And in this case, it would be 241, since you're always just adding stuff onto that. So 3x plus 241 is the model. Or if you prefer, you do 241 plus 3x. But either way, the a value is 241. Okay, next one. In the figure shown above, line Q is parallel to line R, and both lines are intersected by line S. If y is equal to 2x plus 8, what is the value of x? Okay, so just label this here, 2x plus 8. And whenever we have weird diagrams like this, I would try to just use your vision and see which angles look the same, because if they look the same, they probably are. And what we can tell right away is this 58 and this angle. These are called corresponding angles. If you don't believe it, we could do a little triangle here to verify the angles are the same. And if we slide here, it's the same angle. Okay, so we can label this 58. And now that we have this angle, this one, and this one, we know they form a straight line, which is 180 degrees. So we can add them together and set them equal to 180. So 2x plus 8 plus 58 is equal to 180. If you want to save time, I would just do decimals. 2 plus 8 plus 58 to 180. And we get that x is equal to 57. Okay. X is equal to 57. Okay, and this one. A number x is at most 17 less than 5 times the value of y. If the value of y is 3, what is the greatest possible value of x? Okay, so when it says at most, that should hint to you that it's an inequality. Okay, so x can't be greater than 5 times the value of y, and 17 less than that. Okay, and we're also getting that the value of y is 3, so y equals 3. And to find the maximum value of x, we just plug this in. Okay, so x is less than or equal to 5 times 3, which is 15, minus 17. And we get x is less than or equal to negative 2. That's our answer. Put this here, negative 2. Next one. Okay. So this one, I just put a little braces for simple equations, because that's what should be going off in your head as soon as you do this problem. Okay, so with some of the equations, we just put them into decimals and see what it tells us. So 3 is equal to negative 2y plus 5. Next one, x minus 3 is equal to 2y plus 7. And it says the solution. Here the solution is the intersection. Okay, so now we have the solution. And we get answer choice C. Okay, now for the next one. The function f is defined by the given equation. For what value of x does f of x reach its minimum? Okay, so we want to find the minimum. We want to find the lowest point of the quadratic, which we could easily do on decimals. So let's split up. F of x is equal to x plus 7 squared is 4. We get the lowest point is at negative 7 comma 4. So the x value is negative 7. And we're done. Okay, this one. In the given function f, a is a constant. The graph of function f in the xy plane, where y is equal to f of x, is translated 3 units down and 4 units to the right to produce the graph of y is equal to g of x. Which equation defines function g? Since this deals with transformations, it sounds like a Desmos problem. Let's go to f of x is equal to a minus 19 divided by x is 5. Okay, let's just define a real quick. And we're going to see which one of these answer choices best matches. Okay, so let's graph this first one. A minus 19 divided by x plus 4 plus 2. Okay, so for this one, we know it can't be it since it moved to the left instead of moving to the right as we want. So it can't be answer choice A. Let's try the next one. A minus 19 divided by x minus 4 plus 2. Okay, this one does move down and it does move to the right. So this is a good candidate answer choice. But let's see if there's anything better. Okay, so next one. A minus 22 divided by x plus 4 is 5. Okay, this one moves to the left, so it's not right. So it's not this one. Okay, now for the last one. A minus 22 divided by x plus 4 plus 5. Okay, and the reason I would eliminate this one is that it doesn't look like it's really going down by 3. As you see here, this doesn't look as clean as this one. This one, like, yeah, you can see here, it goes from 6.8 to, sorry, yeah, 6.8 to like 3.8-ish. So that's for that one. I would say it's not D either, since this is a cleaner version of 3 units down. Okay. Hopefully that helps for calculator usage. And now for the next one. Okay. Now we're in the next section, next part of the test. The box plot summarizes 15 data values. What is the median of the data set? Okay. So remember that a median is the middle, and that applies to these box plots as well, these weird graphs. And the median is this middle line. So we have like this. This is the median, whatever below that. And if it's all the way over here, it's whatever is below that, whatever below that, whatever below that. And that's the median for box plots. Okay, what is the median? Okay, see it's below that line, it's 5. Next one. The cost Y in dollars for a manufacturer to make X rings is represented by the line below. Okay, if X is our rings, we set X equal to 60 to find how much it costs to make 60 rings. So see what we get when we plug in X equals 60 to find the cost in dollars. Okay, so we go up and stop. So we're in between 200 and 150. So the answer here is $175. Answer choice C. Next one. Monarch butterflies can fly with a body temperature of at least 55 degrees Fahrenheit. If a monarch's butterfly body temperature is 51.3 Fahrenheit, what is the minimum increase needed in body temperature in Fahrenheit so that it can fly? Okay, so we're just asking, how do we get from 51.3 all the way to 55? This is a subtraction problem, so we subtract the two, 55.0 minus 51.3. You can't do 0 minus 3, so carry the 1. And you would get 3.7. A function f is defined by f of x is equal to 1 over 6x. What is the value of f of x when x equals 3? Okay, So it's not telling us that x is equal to 3. So let's see what happens when we plug it in. So f of 3 is equal to 1 divided by 6 times 3. We get 1 divided by, let's make this dot a little bigger, 1 divided by 18, which is our final answer. Next one. If 2x is equal to 12, what is the value of 9x? If we want to find 9x, we have to find x first. So 2x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 2, and you get x is equal to 6. Now we can do 9 times x, so 9 times 6, which is 54. That's our final answer. Next one. Henry receives a $60 gift card to pay for movies online. He has used his gift card to buy 3 movies for $7.50 each. If he spends the rest of his gift card balance on renting movies for $1.5 each, how many movies can Henry rent? Okay, so let's find what his new balance is first. Use decimals for this one for quick calculations. Okay, so he buys 3 movies for $7.50 each. So 60 minus 3 times 7.5. So he has $37.5 remaining. And if we divide them into groups of 1.50, let's see what we get. We get 25. So that means you can buy 25 movies. Or you could have seen this last step as 37.5 is equal to movie cost times x, and you solve for x. Okay. Next one. The given equation relates to positive numbers m, n, and p. Which equation correctly gives n in terms of n and p? Okay, so to find n here, let's distribute first. So 7m is equal to 5n plus 5p. And we need n by itself, so let's get rid of this guy. Subtract 5p from both sides. 7m minus 5p is equal to 5n. Now finally, to get n by itself, we need to get rid of this 5, which we can do by dividing both sides by 5. So 7m minus 5p, everything here divided by 5 is equal to n. Okay, if we see here, right now, none of the answer choices actually match what we got. So let's see if we can reduce this a little further or express it a different way. Whenever we have just a singular number here in the denominator, we can divide this by every number here. So divide this by 5, and then divide this by 5. So you would get 7m divided by 5 minus 5p over 5. And this just turns into 5p over 5 is just p. That's equal to n. So our answer choice is B. Next one. For the function f, the graph of y equals f of x in the xy plane has a slope of 3 and passes through the point 0, negative 8. Which equation defines f? Okay, for this one, you could use a calculator if you're not sure what it's talking about. 0, negative 8. Okay, we know a line is of the form y equals mx plus b. We wanted to find the intercept. Okay, we know the slope is 3, so 3x plus b. And add a slider for b, and see for which value of b do we get down here. Okay, we get there when b is equal to negative 8, so our equation must be 3x minus 8. Or, what I think would be simpler to recognize of this problem is that 0, negative 8 is already the y-intercept. And in y equals mx plus b, since b is your y-intercept, you could just write it as 3x minus 8, and you're done. But both of these methods work. Next one. A band with 45 members has 11 members who play the saxophone. If one member is selected as random, what is the probability of selecting a band member who plays the saxophone? Okay, when you have these probability problems, just think of part divided by whole. Okay, so the part here is how many play the saxophone? Because that's what we're asking for, probability of who plays the saxophone. So our part is 11, and the whole here is going to be the total members, which is 45. So the answer is simply 11 divided by 45. We're done. Next one. The graphs of the given equations intersect at the point x comma y in the xy plane. What is the value of y? Another system of equations is another problem for test points. X is equal to 49, y is equal to square root of x plus 9. If you're wondering how I did that, that's sort of simple. You just type SQRT, which sounds like skirt. That's how you type in square roots. Okay, square root of x plus 9. And we see where they intersect. Okay, they intersect at 49 comma 16, and 16 is our y value, so that's the answer. Alternatively, you could just plug it into here. X is equal to 49, plug it in. Square root of 49 plus 9. 7 plus 9 is equal to 16. Same answer. Okay, which equation shows the relationship between the side lengths of the given triangle? Okay, this one requires the Pythagorean theorem, which you should remember as a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And it doesn't matter what a and b are, it just matters that c is the longest side. So a squared plus b squared is equal to 19 squared. Let's see which of these have 19 squared. This one doesn't, this one doesn't. And we can immediately cross out this one as well, since it has a minus sign and not a plus. Okay, and here, we know that either a or b here can be 4. So 4 squared plus b squared is equal to 19 squared. So that means this is our answer choice. Next one. Okay, now for this one. For a camping trip, a group bought X 1-liter bottles of water and Y 3-liter bottles of water for a total of 240 liters. Which equation represents the situation? Okay, so for the X 1-liter bottles, the amount of liters is just equal to X. Because if you have 7 1-liter bottles, that's just 7 liters. If you have 8 1-liter bottles, that's just 8 liters. So the number of liters in this is just X. And for this one, for Y, if you have 2 3-liter bottles, that's 6 liters. If you have 3 3-liter bottles, that's 9 liters. So you multiply by 3. So you'd have X plus 3Y is equal to total number of liters, which is 240. So that matches answer choice A. Next one. A special camera is used for underwater ocean research. When the camera is at a depth of 58 fathoms, what is the camera's depth in feet? Where 1 fathom is equal to 6 feet. Okay, so we know feet is the greater measurement, then we multiply by 6. So 58 times 6 is equal to 50 times 6 plus 8 times 6. So 300 plus 48. The answer choice is 348. Next one. Okay, let's see this table problem. Which table gives 3 values of x and their corresponding values of y in the given equation? Okay, the easiest way to do this one is just check values of x and y. So when we plug in x of 0, do we get 0? Okay, Plugging 0 into here, we're going to get y is equal to 0 times this plus 40. We get 40. This is not correct. This one, it does have the 40, so it's potential. Just put a little dot here. This one, you also get 40s. This is also potential. So it's below that. This one also gives you 0, so it's wrong immediately. Okay. And let's see the way to boil it down. This one says at x equals 1, you get 44. This one says at x equals 1, you get 36. So let's plug in 1 to see which one it really is. So y is equal to -4. -4 times 1 is -4 plus 40. And you get y is equal to 36. 40 minus 4. So the answer choice is C. Next one. In xyz, the measure of x is 23, and the measure of y is 66. What is the measure of z? For this one, you just have to know that a triangle always adds up to 180, the angles. So we have 23 plus 66 plus x is equal to 180. 23 plus 66 is 89 plus x is equal to 180. So that means x is equal to 91. And that's answer choice C. Okay, next one. Which ordered pair is a solution to inequality? Okay, to see which one's the solution, it has to be in this shaded area, where everything's darker. So let's see which ones are in that area. Okay, 0, -4. That's here, so it's not this one. 0, 4. That's over here, so it's not that one. -4, 0. That's over here, so it's not this one. 4, 0 is in this range, so it's D. Which of the following points is a solution to this system of equations? Okay, we can just decimals again. X equals 5 and y equals x minus 8. We get a solution at 5, -3. So the answer is B. Quadrilateral PQRS is similar to quadrilateral PQRS, where PQRS correspond to PQ, R, and S, respectively. The measure of angle P is 30 degrees, the measure of angle Q is 50 degrees, and the measure of angle R is 70 degrees. The length of each side is 3 times the length of each corresponding side of PQRS. What is the measure of angle P prime? Okay, so for this one, they try to make it sound a lot harder than it really is. But what you should know is that similar triangles, or similar shapes in general, do a little demonstration here. If you were to just scale this up or scale it down, the angles are the same. Same thing with triangles. If you scale it up, same angles. It's just bigger side lengths. So for this one, the angles actually just remained unchanged if they correspond to each other. Because here, P is P prime, Q is Q prime. So answer choice is just, remove that stroke. Answer choice is just B. Next one. What is the solution to the given equation? Okay. For what value of W, when you divide -54, well, you get 6. If you can't see that it's -9, and let's give it a second to work it out. -54 divided by W is equal to 6. When you have variables in the denominator, multiply both sides by that. So you get -54 equal to 6W. Divide both sides by 6. And you get -9. final answer. Last year, Cedric had 35 plants in his garden. This year, the number of plants in his garden is 60% greater than the number of plants in his garden last year. How many plants does he have in his garden this year? Okay, so let's not forget the original amount he had, and we're going to add the increase. So we add 0.6 times 35. Let's see what that is. 35 plus 0.6, 35. And you get the final answer of 56. Done. The equation gives an estimated stock price Y in dollars for a certain company X days after a new product is launched, where 0 is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to 20. Which statement is the best interpretation of X comma Y is equal to 1 comma 83 in this context? Okay, let's go back a few words and see what X means. For a certain company, X days after a new product is launched. So if X is 1, it means 1 day after the product is launched. Just write it down here. 1 day after launch. Now let's see what the Y means. It's the estimated stock price Y. So that means it's approximately $83 of a certain company. Okay, so the one that matches the closest is C. It's 1 day after launch, the stock price is approximately $83. So answer choice C. Okay, now for this one. A quadratic function models a projectile's height in meters above the ground in terms of time in seconds after it was launched. The model estimates that the projectile was launched from an initial height of 7 meters above the ground and reached a maximum height of 51 meters above the ground 3 seconds after the launch. How many seconds after the launch does the model estimate that the projectile will return to a height of 7 meters? That's a lot of words, but what I would do for this one is sketch it out and then put it into decimals. Or axes real quick. Okay. And we have a point here at, just label this real quick, seconds and meters. And so that the initial height is 7 meters above the ground, which means at 0 seconds, we've gotten 51.1 meters. Okay, our next point is a height of 51.1 meters above the ground, 3 seconds after launch. So 3 comma, sorry, I put the 51.1 here. Good. Okay. So we have the point here. Here should be 7 meters. Okay, and now to add another point to this, we can use the symmetry of this parabola. Because we know after 3 seconds, it's going to go up, and after another 3 seconds, it's going to be in the same place. So this is also going to be 6 comma 7. And I'm drawing it out. This makes sense. So to get to 7 meters, we need to have gone 6 seconds. Okay, and just to recap, we use the symmetry of the parabola. So that, okay, in 3 seconds, we reach the maximum height. In another 3 seconds, we're going to end up back where we started. So the answer to this one is 6. Okay, and that concludes the practice test. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.